Dr. Greenthumb Show. Lord of mercy.
That bass command. Mic 1 going on, mic 2 going on.
1 2 1 2. Yeah! What up, everyone? Welcome to the Dr. Greenthumb Show. My name is C Minus, here filling in for the good Dr. Greenthumb himself, Be Real, Eric Bobo, while they're on tour Cypress Hill with Slipknot and the Horrors. I think they were just in Canada last night, right? Or
Word up.
yeah, so we're filling in while B and Bo Bizzle for Shizzle are on the road. And to my right, we have the one and only legendary beat nut, Psycho Les.
Salute. How you doing?
Yeah.
Got a great show today.
We sure do.
It's gonna get slippery in here.
How you doing?
And up in the treehouse, the THC, the Treehouse crew, we got Bolton, we got Bra Bra, and of course the Dominator.
What's going on, B minus? How you doing? Like Psycho Les said, we'll probably need a wet floor sign here
Oh, I'm
in
sure.
the studio.
I'm sure. And our very special guest today, we have the one, the only, Will Pounder.
What's going on, guys?
What up, man?
What's cracking?
Welcome to the Dr. Grintham Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you coming down and hanging out with us.
Oh man, I was very impressed with the walk-in.
Yeah.
BTS cam, got the swag bags.
Yeah, man.
Goodies.
We
Super good energy, good vibes everywhere.
Hey, man, that's what we're about over here. Super good energy and, you know, smoking weed and having a good time. Good conversation as well for this show right here.
Oh man, I don't know if you're ready for that one.
So, man, there's so many questions I want to ask you, but I think first we should, you know, get to know a little bit about you first. And if you wouldn't mind, please telling us
Oh, a little introduction.
a little introduction
Okay.
to yourself.
We will do the introduction.
Yes, sir.
And how'd you come up with that name too?
Oh, that's a story in and of itself.
So, you know, take us to the beginning.
Take us back.
To the very beginning. Okay. Well, back in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
So precursor, I got to set the format. I have a near photographic memory.
That's
And
badass.
I have a
crazy.
my hobby is studying, and it's kind of weird, but if I don't study, my brain goes crazy. So I always have to learn. So I'm constantly listening to podcasts. Mostly, I don't really read books anymore, just because it's not efficient time-wise. Like I read some core books, but it's not efficiently time-wise as far as learning information.
Yeah.
And so when I joined the Marine Corps, I was a bodybuilder. I was huge, 250 pounds, like 6%.
Okay.
I got stuck in a doorway once. Not funny.
No, for real, like you got
like literally. So here's the crazy. I was in A school in the Marine Corps, and so you know we finished boot camp. You go that, and then your A school is your first like tech school. And so I scored really high on the test, so I got to choose what job or career field I wanted. So I chose avionics. And so when I was in the schooling for it, and it's kind of a funny story, is I've never been high in my life at this point.
Okay.
And so I was a bodybuilder, and my headmate. So we had 2 rooms, and it was shared by a conjoining restroom. And so the doorway was slightly smaller than the normal frames.
Okay.
Well, we did nothing. There's nothing to do in the Marine Corps. Like when you're going through that, you go to school and then there's nothing. So I just lifted weights, and I read all the studies I could find, which was a lot of contradictory information back in the time. So I ran experiments on what works and doesn't.
Oh, wow.
And then studied the diets and all that kind of stuff. So I got big really quick. I was about 250 pounds, and I didn't want to do this really boring work that we had to do, like our homework.
Mm-hmm.
So my headmate, I was like, you do the other side, I'll do the front side, and then once we're done, we'll kick it and we'll go to the gym. So we're doing that. So I'm yelling at him. I'm yelling his name. I'm like, Park! And he's not answering. And so I'm in a good mood because I'm always in a good mood, and so I'm kind of skipping. And so I skip through the doorway, and my shoulders go, and I get wedged, and my feet are off the ground. And I was like,
No way.
I was like, no, this is some bullshit. I was like, this ain't real, you know. So like, I'm trying to stroke, but I'm like legitimately off the ground, and like I can't move my arms. I was like, maybe I can concave my chest, or like maybe I could use my foot and kick a door frame. But no, I'm straight Flintstone in this right now, and I can't get out. I was like, oh, you have got to be kidding me. And like after I stood there for a solid like minute, I'm like, I'm legitimately stuck in a doorway.
So you're running, you're skipping, or you're like,
I was being ridiculously silly, and I
You're just
I
like,
was
"Wow,
skipping,
wow,
and I was skipping high. I skipped up, and I hit the doorway, and I slid down like when I got stuck on the door. So it was this shink. And
So on your way down, you got stuck in the frame as you were just
as I was coming down. And it wasn't like I was jumping super high, but my feet were like an inch off of the ground. Like my
Wow.
toes couldn't touch it, and that was it.
Wow.
Just enough that I couldn't actually touch any surfaces to get me out. So I had to yell for my headmate and yell at him until he comes over, and he runs around the corner. He's like, "What?" Never lived that down.
Wow, yeah. I mean, that's enough to forever. That's a forever experience. Hey, man, remember that one time you got stuck in the door?
So anyhow, thought that'd be a funny story, but continuing on is
So how'd you get that? How'd you get down? Like,
he Sparta kicked me.
oh, okay.
Like, he just walked up and
This is
just
Sparta.
bam right in my chest, and I was like, we laughed about it for a while and kind of joked. And but later on, like, I ended up in the fleet, and so my friend, his name was Guthrow. He looked like he belonged on the cover of Muscle magazine.
Okay.
Like just
Ripped.
insane. Like it just made no sense that you could be that big. And he was a person that taught me how to lift weights and train and all that kind of stuff. And
Cool.
I had a little like coming to Jesus moment almost, or coming to like oh shit, pardon my bad.
No, it's all
oh
good.
crap.
You're good. You're
Magnificent.
good.
So every day he would come up to me and he'd flex his arms in front of me like this. He's like, "Do my biceps look any bigger, bro?" I was like, I don't know. Like the third day this has happened in a row, I was like, I don't know, man. Like they're the size of my head. Like I can't
Yeah.
tell you. And so I was like, that's gonna be me in 5 years if I keep
Pythons.
doing this. And so I didn't want to bodybuild anymore. That scared me. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to go down that path.
Right.
Was he juicing? Maybe.
Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I wasn't aware of it. I didn't research that back at the time.
So it was that moment where you were like,
I'm done bodybuilding. So I was big, massive, just absolutely massive. I was leg pressing 2,200 pounds. I was repping 1,000 pounds on my squats, warming up with 100-pound curls. Like it was just,
Whoa.
there's no need to be that big. There is literally no need to be that big.
wow.
And so I wanted to do a sport to use that muscle because I felt like it was an investment. Like I did a lot of research, I spent a lot of money for the nutrition and all that, and I wanted to use what I put into it. You know?
Right.
And so I was looking at all the different sports, and I didn't want to do MMA, didn't want to do boxing, didn't want to do Muay Thai because I didn't want to get punched in the face. I was like, I don't care who you are, nobody likes getting hit in the face. If they say they like getting hit in the face, they're lying to you. I talked to Chael Sonnen myself, and he says, no, fucking hate getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
Nobody likes getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
So I figured I would get into jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And so that's where the journey started. So I got into the fleet in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And when I got into fleet, I was expecting that I was going to be working on circuit cards and doing some problem solving. That's ultimately what I like doing, is solving problems. And I got stuck in a back van with the lights off, working on night vision goggles.
Damn.
It sounds cool. It's not cool. You're sitting there in the dark for 8 hours a day, staring into these green light bulbs, basically, and twisting them and making sure that they're in focus and troubleshoot them. Not fun.
Whoa.
So I told him I was going to go fight for the Marine Corps. My sergeant, he pulled the whole shop together, called a shop meeting, and everybody laughed at me. Literally,
Wow.
just like that. Now, now, to give you a little landscape, there's some camaraderie in that. So I wasn't upset about that. You know, like, it wasn't like a personal attack. That was like the culture there, and we were all like, Marines talk smack.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what we do. You know,
Absolutely.
if a Marine, if you're in the group and they're not talking smack to you, then you're not in with the group. That's the easiest way to put it. Like my day one into the shop was the only three things I ever really did super, super well before the Marine Corps was basketball, ground fighting, and and Halo.
Nice.
The only three things I did really good that I competed in, all three of those. And so I walked into the shop, day one, they had this big Samoan Marine. And he's like, you got to ground fight him. So I pretended I didn't know how to ground fight. Went and put him in a key lock real quick. It was over. So like, oh, okay, this guy, he is athletic, big, strong guy. So he's probably not good at, something athletic, like basketball. So I play basketball. Well, I did street ball
Right.
out of high school. That was my jam.
Right.
So just straight rickrolled everybody. And then, well, this guy's all in sports. He doesn't play video games, so they went and played Halo. I used to compete in Halo. In fact, my group of friends, when we played Halo, me and my bud, we were on handicaps, so we could not use, at one point, we couldn't use any weapons. We could only use sticky grenades.
What?
We figured out every location to throw frag grenades and sticky grenades to get them to bounce or land on people to get the kill. And so we were playing that game.
Whoa.
And so it came down to like understanding the physics that if somebody jumped in that game, you knew that if you throw the sticky grenade to where they're going to land, it'll hit them almost every single time. And so that was just kind of where it's at. So it was off to a good start on there. So anyhow, fast forward, they bring the whole shop in. They basically say, no one's ever left this shop. You're not going to go. Like, this is your life from here on out. And basically just kind of like put it down like that. And I was like, okay. Well, the day I walked into the fleet, that was when I decided no more bodybuilding. So I went to go do jiu-jitsu. And that led me to go train with Barrett Yoshida. Little 150-pound guy. Awesome dude. I don't know if you know who he is or not.
No, I can't say it.
But he's competed on Subversive.
Okay.
So I walk into this gym, big dude. We fight the 5-minute rounds, and then he keeps going. So we kept fighting, and we kept fighting. Round after round, didn't stop, just keep fighting. And I was like, this guy's just not giving up. And I'm fighting as hard as I can for like 30 minutes. It might have been less than that, but in my head, it was like 30 minutes. So we're just going to pretend that was that long.
Right. I'm with you.
And he whips my butt from one end of the gym to the other end of the gym. And I sat there, I was like, man, all this muscle is worthless. I curled him when we were fighting. He grabbed onto my arm trying to go for an arm, and I just curled him. I was like, no. And then shot put him off me. And he just kept coming back. And I was like, this is ridiculous.
Wow.
So I was like, no more. And that's when I started focusing on technique and learning. Now, the problem is he taught one series a week. He taught it really, really well. Like, phenomenal coach. Hands down, one of the best coaches I've ever had. But he only taught one move a week. And I've got a near photographic memory. I learned super, super quick. So I wanted to learn more. So I would hear what other people in the class were saying. They'd say words like onomplatas, kimuras, and stuff like that. So I was like, all right. So I go on YouTube. Well, then when I got back to the Marine, back to base, because I worked I got off work at 4:30, and then I went in to go train, and then I had a 2-hour lunch to where we could do whatever. And so I would grab my roommate, and we go across to the 7-day, or it was next to the 7-day. It was a gym. We had this in the cardio room. There was a 4x8 square foot mat. Not a lot, just enough for like one person to kind of do some drills.
Okay.
So I was practicing the stuff I watched on YouTube that I heard from the other kids talking in the class. Well, Marines like to fight. And so this cardio room, more and more Marines started coming up until we filled up the cardio room. No one really noticed it till about the 3rd day. And that was when they had a cardio class that day. And they couldn't do the cardio class because there were 30 Marines in this tiny room watching me and this other person demonstrate jiu-jitsu moves.
Whoa.
And so they couldn't kick us out, but they also couldn't use the cardio machine. So it became this problem. So then they ended up starting the jiu-jitsu. So I indirectly started the jiu-jitsu club in Miramar in my first 6 months of doing jiu-jitsu. So
Whoa.
I got, what they did is they took a racquetball court and they matted it all out, and that was where we went. So for 3 months, we filled up the entire racquetball. Like all the Marines that came in there, it filled it up. So we had a line outside the door of people wanting to learn jiu-jitsu. Like I said, Marines like to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the same time, my students were my upper chain of command.
Okay, so the people you were teaching were
Were my shop's bosses.
Oh, okay, that's a
I
dynamic.
didn't know this, and so eventually they ended up. I teamed up with a warrant officer, and he got us a 10,000 square foot mat and I was constantly getting called into the front office. Well, I was a junior Marine. Like I was a Lance Corporal at the time, low on the totem pole. And so anytime I got called in the front office, my staff sergeant, and my gunny had to go in. I got called in so many times that eventually it just became me and my staff sergeant because this was like a weekly thing. We're putting up this sign on the base. What do you want it to say? I had to go answer that question. Like all this kind of stuff setting this up. And this doesn't happen to junior Marines. This is something that usually the officer side of the house would handle those kind of things or something along those lines. And so we got this big space. Well, my shop was dead set on not letting me go and fight for the Marine Corps, keeping me in there.
Okay.
Dead set on that. And I'm gonna side rail from this conversation real quick and give you an example. So I'm teaching the class. We got these 10,000 square foot mat. We got 100 Marines showing up to class, and I got these two old dudes that are sitting there talking while I'm giving my instruction. Now I'm about to swear here in a minute, so
It's okay. No, you're totally good.
Okay, all right. So
I'll do your shot. Don't worry.
okay,
It's true. He will.
all right. So I'm going to the Marine mentality here, and I'm just reiterating what I learned. So I was in Barrett's class, and I was talking to my training partner while he was teaching. He looked at me and said, "Shut the fuck up and give me 20 burpees." I'm not going to say I'm nothing. I did my 20 burpees, went back to the class. Lesson learned, my bad. I'm sorry for interrupting your class. These two dudes, older dudes, I should say gents. These two gents are, are talking while I'm giving the instruction. So I looked at them. I told them to shut the fuck up and give me 20 burpees. Well, they responded, "Do you know who I am?" And I looked at them and said, "I don't give a fuck who you are. Give me 20 burpees or there's the door." And I went back to teaching my class. Didn't even think twice about it. No recollection, no tact, no nothing. Just out with it, I'm a very blunt. Like I'll tell you the honest truth, and I'll be straightforward to your face about it. I don't beat around the bush.
Very upfront about it.
So I did the class. Afterwards, he comes back. I'm Lieutenant Colonel. Da 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 da. That was the ballsiest thing anyone's ever told me. Shook my hand and showed up to every single class. I didn't find out until after I got out of the Marine Corps that he was my boss's 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 boss.
Oh.
No idea. It's direct chain of command, right up the line.
Damn.
Oh, I know. So
How did you, the moment you found that out, what was your initial thought like?
Jesus
I laughed.
Christ.
I wasn't in the Marine Corps no more, so I was like, wow, that's funny. That could have gone in a completely different direction.
Oh, man.
That was like undercover boss.
But I wasn't in the wrong.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he could really come down with judicial punishment on that. The only thing he could come at was disrespectful in how I managed it. But all that's kind of hearsay with the Marine lingo anyways, because I didn't know who he was.
Okay.
So anyhow, I'm competing. So Barrett told me something about if you really want to get good in jiu-jitsu, you got to compete. So I was competing every chance that I got. Every week I was going out competing. Well, I wasn't doing so good at the beginning, but then I started to win some. And this is about 6 months into the sport, and I had got the whole club going. Now in Barrett's class, I was average at this point. Like I wasn't at the bottom I wasn't getting my butt kicked every single day, but I also wasn't kicking butt. Like I was surviving. I was in pure survival mode. And this was at 6 months, and I was feeling good, feeling confident. I show up in class. I got submitted 32 times by different variations of a triangle setup by everybody in the class. And I'm like, did I miss a lesson or something? And I thought maybe jiu-jitsu's not out for me. Mind you, I've got this whole club going on that I'm teaching.
Right.
And I quit jiu-jitsu for 2 weeks. Like I still taught at the club just to keep it going, but I was like, maybe I had that maybe this just isn't for me.
Whoa.
And but what I didn't realize is that when you learn a lot of information, it takes a while for your brain to process that to then apply it.
Yes.
So what my mind was going through when I was at that 6 month mark was I knew the moves, I knew how it worked, but there was this fog. And so you're wading around through this fog trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took the 2 weeks off, my body recovered, and my brain processed all that information. So I was like, I'm gonna give it one more shot. I go back to that class and a light bulb clicked. And I just straight rickrolled everybody right up to just Barrett and we were rolling again.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And so I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. So I started, I went out to some tournaments, I double gold medals at these tournaments, and my chain of command I was prepping for this. I read, so hindsight, I read all of the SOPs of how the base operates.
Okay.
Nobody does that. Usually like an officer going up into the upper lines would study that stuff. I'm a little Lance Corporal, and I don't like doing things until I know how everything works.
Okay.
So that's why I studied. That's how
Studying.
studied everything.
Okay.
And so I understood how everything worked. And I was like, the only way that I'm actually going to get my shop to let me go is if it's not my shop's decision. But then, in order for them to approve something, that request is a CHIT, C-H-I-T, and it has
Okay.
to get routed through their chain of command. So I knew that. So every day, every weekend, I'd come back with a couple gold medals, and I'd be like, hey, look what I got this weekend. Hey, check this out. Oh, yeah, I'm teaching the classes down here. You want to come check out some jiu-jitsu? Yeah, I wanted to give something back to the Marines. So I started setting the tone. Like, I'm giving it back to the Corps.
Right.
I'm
Right.
doing-
Right. Yeah.
And then
nice.
MCS would have like these events, and so I would meet like UFC fighters that were coming in for camps, and I ran Barrett's Crucifix series, and I got really, really good at that series. And so I was catching a lot of high level people with that series, and so that's how this happened. So I was able to get a lot of these people that come onto the base for these events. So my name is getting tied into base functions over and over and over again. And so the coach of the all Marine team, the tournament that I double gold medaled at, well, the Marine team was there, and they he wanted like, you need to come fight for us. So he put a PTAD request in, which is a request to have him come to my team, but that had to get approved by my chain of command.
So he's another team asking for you to come in, be on his team.
Yeah, the military has like sports teams.
Okay.
And so they can request, but all you can do is request. They can't take someone away from a unit because they're not going to risk mission operation or mission readiness or anything like that. You know, if you're integral
Right.
to the process there, then they're not going to risk that.
Okay. Word.
So they send that request. My shop was like, no, not going to happen. You know, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
But they had to route it up. I didn't know that my students in my class were their bosses.
Oh.
Interesting now, right?
Wow.
And now their bosses that they report to with the whole base, my name's in their mouths because I'm setting up the jiu-jitsu club that's building morale within the base, and it was the biggest event on that base at the time, the biggest extracurricular event. Marines like to fight. And so when they routed that CHIT, when they routed it, they came back and they were asking, they were talking to him, and they're like, so your MOS, his MOS is getting phased out into a new MOS, and the equipment that he works on isn't really needed in the war that we're in. Like, we just need to maintain it should we go into war or need it for X, Y, and Z, but it's not in the war. And so they started looking into how he's running the shop. Well, that's not good. Nobody wants that, because they wanted to know, like, well, why can't this guy go now? So before that even went down that direction, he said, we'll make it work, and let me go.
Whoa. All right.
Crazy.
Wow.
So now things get really interesting.
Yeah, dude.
So I'm a Lance Corporal, bottom of I know I said this a few times, but
Right.
Lance Corporal, bottom of the totem pole. I just got more pull than my captain, who was in charge of that whole area.
Ooh.
He brought me into my office because they tried putting me on 2 deployments. The base kept pulling me off the deployments because I left for 3 days. There was 100 Marines that showed up to class, and where they put the gym at was right next to the physical therapy department, and we're not supposed to touch that equipment. We'll try to tell 100 Marines, especially with seniority complex, that they can't touch something. What are they going to do? They're going to touch it.
Yeah, you can't touch that. Oh yeah, watch me.
So that through, like, who's in charge of this program? And so then I got pulled off a deployment to go and manage the deployment. And so that happened twice. And so I got brought into my captain's office, and my staff sergeant and my gunny had to go there, and they're by the book. And this captain, there is no other than the book. He is 100% strict, and he was known as being the most strict captain in the whole division that they had. So I get brought in there, and he's like, we have tried to put you on multiple deployments, but it appears that you know people in higher rank than I do. So from this point on, you are on your own program. Just come in and check in with us every once in a while and let us know that you're alive.
God damn it!
Wow.
The face of my staff sergeant, jaw dropped. Now, me and him have a history. He was my C school instructor. He's the one that hazed me through training. He's by the book. His
Okay.
jaw dropped. Because there's this thing called OFP. It's a culture thing inside the Marine Corps. OFP means your own fucking program.
What the
And
fuck?
so it's like, oh, your own fucking program, Marine. Is that
Oh.
right? Cool. And so what they'll do is like, if you're out of line, it's like, oh, I guess you get to have a fucking vacation while we get to do all the work. And it becomes you get outed like that.
Oh, wow. OFP.
Your
That's
OFP,
Lot of
your own
hating.
fucking program.
okay.
So I just legitimately got told by my captain in front of my superiors, my direct superiors, that I'm on my own program.
Yeah, baby.
What and when someone tells you that you know no longer, I mean, you're not at the the lower rank, that you're on your own thing, what is that like? What do you do different from that point on, or do you just stay the course?
I stayed the course. So I was super disciplined. Like I didn't even drink in the Marine Corps. I was full-time athlete. I was 100% dedicated to the sport. All I did was eat, breathe, sleep, study, train jiu-jitsu, and compete. And so that's all I did is I ran the program in Miramar, and then I ran the team up in Pendleton. Well, I didn't run the team initially. I went up there, and 4 months later, then I took a coach spot and started teaching.
So when you get OFP'd, like, does that mean that like your
Nobody gets OFP'd.
Oh, okay. Like
Nobody gets OFP'd.
like you're like you did.
Yeah, I did.
So at that point, the jiu-jitsu center becomes the main focus, and you're just 100% that, right?
Full-time athlete.
King Kong
I found a
ain't
way
got shit
to
on me.
basically break out of, because I hated my job, like sitting in a dark room staring at NVGs, like the green circles, 8
Yeah.
hours a day. That would drive anybody mad.
Yeah, I mean,
And so you can either be you can either become a victim of your circumstances, or you can change your circumstances.
True.
And if I can pull that off in the fucking Marine Corps, one of the most strictest military branches, and you can pull that. Anybody can pull that off in whatever
Damn.
scenario. they're in.
That's some Jedi thinking right there. Like you did that, you handled that like. I mean, that's like you said. No one gets OF. I mean,
Nobody.
and you did.
It-
So, salute, sir.
When did you meet the Irish instructor guy?
Oh, Barrett?
Yeah.
He's actually Hawaiian.
Oh, Hawaiian?
But yeah, so
'Cause
that
you
was
said
my
you
first instructor.
You started talking his accent and all that. I was like, that's crazy.
I was in the so the accent thing. So I got a near photographic memory, and when I learn information, if the person that taught me that information had an accent, then I remember it in that accent. So sometimes when I
Oh.
reiterate
All
that
right.
information, it comes out in the accent.
That's crazy.
Super weird. But yeah, that's why I sometimes jump around with different accents.
That's funny.
I got to barge in here. The
But,
chat wants
so
to know if
that was that whole thing.
I got to barge in here. The chat wants
So
to know if
my
you
whole
want to.
career path, and I'm sure you're kind of wondering how I got to where I'm at in entertainment.
Yeah. Colton had a question from the chat.
Fuck your chat.
The
Alright.
chat wants you to spark that joint up, man.
Oh, they want to see you smoke.
Yeah, I did like.
yeah.
All right.
Are his headphones working? Can you
Yo,
hear?
so
can you hear?
are we getting close to the tits and ass?
We getting there.
All right.
Yes.
Hey, yo,
Yeah.
C, can you ask him if the headphones are working?
Can you hear us in the headphones? He cannot hear us in the headphones.
No, we'll have the Dominator down there
Okay.
to come
Oh, that's
help
awesome
you guys out.
stuff.
Yeah.
Can't hear yourself either?
No.
Headphone.
Okay. They're gonna come fix it for you right now.
Oh,
Because,
okay, that's cool.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, the other side of entertainment, the adult side that you ended up going. How did that? Okay. So were you doing the jujitsu thing? Were you
Okay,
already out of the Marines?
So so I'm out of the Marines.
Okay.
So I broke my back in the military.
Ooh,
Couldn't walk for 2 years.
dude.
The doctor said I'd probably never be able to walk, and I believed that. And so that's I got out of the Marine Corps because I was gonna go fight for a living.
Right.
I was very exceptional at the sport. That's where my passion was at. That's all my training was.
And how old are you at this time?
At this time, I got out in 2012, and I'm 35 now. Holy shit, I can hear myself.
There you go. See, now the phones are working.
Let's see. Gosh, can we turn me down? Thank you.
That good?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear
All
you
right,
guys.
cool.
Cool.
Gosh, how old was I? I think I was. Well, you have to do the math.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, about right. Yeah, about 10 years ago. So 25.
Okay.
So this is some good weed, man. Just full
Welcome.
disclosure,
Hell
I've been on a THC break for about
Okay.
2 months, so this is gonna
Yeah,
hit
and smoke
really
at your own
hard.
speed too. You don't have to like try to keep up with us or anything.
That's
Just
good.
at
'Cause I
your
would
own
be
lead.
catatonic. Before.
Yeah.
Did you get drug tested a lot in the military?
Because of my last name, yes.
Right.
My last name's Weed.
Like your legit
legitimately,
name. Legit
my
name is
legit
Weed.
name on my ID is Weed. Will Weed.
Oh, that's
Will Weed Pounder.
that's a beautiful thing, Will. Will, like honestly, that's a beautiful thing, man. Thanks, man. Wow.
So that's what was on my uniform, you know. And eventually I ended up picking up Sergeant, so I was Sergeant Weed.
Yeah. That's rad.
Holy shit,
Hell
dude.
yeah.
So, broke my back in the Marine Corps.
Yes.
And I fought for years with a broken back. No idea it was broke.
So how hard of a break was it? Was it complete like or-
L5 fractured.
Ooh.
If I were to show you if this is like the L5, like the bone, it was like no idea. I mean, it hurt, but you know, you're in the Marine Corps, everything hurts.
So you just I was like, something.
And we're also training and we're fighting every single day. You know, eventually that moved into mixed martial arts, boxing. Yeah. So everything kind of hurt. Like you never walked into the gym or woke up not sore.
Not
or
sore
in
from
pain.
something. Right.
And so I didn't really think anything of it. Got out of the military. Was trained with the Noguera brothers at Black House, and my back started hurting. So checked myself into the VA. They went into they were just like, oh, we'll just give you some muscle relaxers. I was like, I don't really feel muscular. You know, it kind of feels a little bit skeletal. Didn't matter. They just gave me muscle relaxers. Quality medical care at the time. It's gotten a lot better since then, but quality care at the time.
Right.
So I took those muscle relaxers. And by the time I left the hospital, I couldn't walk.
Damn.
Super relaxed.
So what was happening is from all of the training that I was doing the whole time, because my full-time job was training.
Yeah.
6 to 8 hours a day, every single day. And those muscle relaxers released the tension that supported the spine. And so when that happened, my back went from being an S into a 2, and then no walking. Sharp
Yo.
pain, couldn't walk. So that became a whole thing.
Ooh.
Did the whole MRIs and all that. 2 years later, I mean, they told me I probably won't really be able to walk again. Done. Couldn't compete, nothing. So I believe that. So 2 years. Then I had mental health kind of hit with that. Bad diet.
Right.
I had bipolar type 2. It's a genetic base.
Whoa.
Didn't know this. I ended up doing an insane amount of research and figured out how to completely reverse it and treat it.
Nice.
For the most part, you can't really say cure, but pretty darn close. But it wasn't right away. That was a whole process. So during that 2 years, that BP took place. And so I didn't know this at the time. And so kind of drifted off into hypermania.
Oof.
And my case, and so the problem was that no one knew I was bipolar. Nobody did.
Not even you.
No. Well, a bipolar person does not know that they're in an episode.
Right. It's
So
just happening.
So the problem with someone that has bipolar is it happens inside the emotional campus of the brain. So your frontal lobe is your intelligence, and then on the inside, it's your emotional campus. And so they're a teeter-totter. So you can't be emotional and logical at the same time. It's biologically impossible.
Really?
Yeah. So the problem is that people that have type 2 bipolar is the emotional campus doesn't work. So instead of thinking it as the brain, let's think of it as a computer, and this will make a lot more sense.
Okay.
So emotions don't really work, so you don't really feel emotions, but as humans, we have to understand emotions, so they become a learned behavior. So that comes from, now emotions come from your logical center. So how does this correlate to, let's say, relationships? The easiest way to describe this is from a bipolar point of view, that is where their emotional campus isn't working like that. When there's a problem in the relationship, all attention shifts to focusing to solve that problem. But then once that problem is fixed, that problem, like the person falls to the back burner of the mind and everything else comes back.
Oh, wow.
Because emotions are what actually connect you.
Yes.
And so this is as a computer, which is your frontal lobe, which is your logic. So that's your primary,
Yeah.
processing. So that it's just back into that. So you're going back to do your things. Now, I've ended up helping over 100 people completely reverse theirs, and I've noticed something from type 1 bipolars from type 2 bipolars. So type 1 is 100% food based. It's just a bad diet.
Wow.
And I'll explain how I ended up figuring out how to solve this.
Okay.
Because I think this will actually be rather helpful for a lot of people. The type 2 thing was genetic based. And every person that was type 2 has an incredible high aptitude for learning.
Want to learn. Love it.
And everyone, and it's different from everyone's like super highly intelligent. One person, he was a Navy pilot, had a BP episode, so they kicked him out. Can't fly if you got mental illness. So he gets separated out on a bunch of drugs. So I was like, yo, this is, and he got referred to me. And so I was like, well, this is what I did, and I've never took any pharmaceuticals. So if you want to take them, take them. If you don't. I'm not about this, but this is what I did, and this is what worked for me. So he did that. 3 days later, he quit them. 100% recovery. Now he's one of the few people that can look at a set of schematics and tell you what's wrong with them. And when you ask him, he's like, well, they just kind of light up because it doesn't make sense. Can't tell you why, but when it lights up, I know it doesn't make sense, and then I have to go in there and figure out why it doesn't. I had another lady, a girl got referred to me. She has this unique ability of understanding how horses process information. She's one of the very, very few people who could take an abused horse and re-break the horse in so they don't have to put the horse down.
Whoa.
Every single person has this unique aptitude.
That's rad.
My aptitude was I could take a broad source of information and understand it, the whole picture, and put it together.
That's pretty rad.
Hello, beautiful.
Bananas.
So, I mean, that's helped in jiu-jitsu, that's helped in crypto. I consulted in crypto. I've predicted the major market events for the last year and a half.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Hey, crypto's going through it right now, right?
It was predicted.
I mean, the mind is crazy.
100% predicted. If you looked at we'll side rail and then just remind me because I smoked a little bit weed where we were
All good.
started. But so the reason why this was predicted is so you had to look at what was going on with Tether or USDT.
Okay.
So they were essentially a stable coin, but they became their own Federal Reserve, essentially. They just started making as much Tether coins as they wanted. And so then what they started doing is they just started buying all these other cryptocurrencies with the Tether coins. So they became their own Federal Reserve.
Right.
And so it was like a year ago in August, maybe 2 years ago, my time frame's a little off, that we had that first big market dip where Bitcoin crashed. That was actually from Tether. A lot of people didn't really know why it dipped, but what happened is Tether had to provide liquidity, but Tether didn't have the liquidity to provide that. So then they had to sell their positions in Bitcoin and all the other things to provide that. Okay. So we knew this was going to happen. Now, what they were doing will work when the market is going up, but when the market is going down, no dice. So then you had what's going on with Luna, and Luna was tied to that. You had a very wealthy person pull $1 billion out of it. And so that caused a liquidity crisis and caused Tether to crash and caused Luna to crash. And when that all hit down, then it called all the sales across it, which caused everything to tank anymore. And then it almost caused Coinbase to go bankrupt, which that put a bunch of fear in the market, which caused more to it. So if you saw that and you bought in, you're smart. If you didn't, well, congratulations, you're brainwashed. Right. Money is made when things go on sale. But you have to understand what's the mindset with crypto, and the way that I was able to predict these is I followed certain organizations and the news that were coming out of them. The U.S. is the least transparent about anything. I would not believe anything that the news comes out at all.
Right.
Because it's it's all the wealthy people that are using it as an outlet to
they have control or reach to the outlet.
So I don't mess with that, but it's information to take in because you can see the play that's going on.
Disinformation.
Basically.
Yeah.
So should we buy? Since
Right.
it's down, should we buy?
Yes. Well, I don't want to say yes. I want you to make that decision for you. So the way that you could actually answer that for yourself is you would ask, is crypto going to be around 10 years from now?
Yeah, baby.
Exactly. It's the main talk in regulations across the globe.
Right.
So then you got to ask certain questions. What solves real world problems? What will survive regulation? And what is the threat of new entrants? So answer those three questions, and now you can kind of break down all the crap, like your glorified Starbucks reward card type tokens that are only good in this very niche community that isn't really You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
Bull.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so then you can kind of narrow it down to what actual projects solve real problems in X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
And so that way you can
Let me ask you something. You think there could ever be a cashless world?
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Like,
How long
no
would
shadow
that
of doubt.
take to take? Because
So right now there's a fight. There's kind of been a global financial war that's been going on for a long time, and so you're seeing global control from the WF, where they're trying to own everything, and you own nothing and be happy about it. Then you have the banks, who basically own our current government and the SEC. If you don't believe me, just look at the people there and look them up on Wikipedia and look at their work history. It all traces right back to the banks.
Right.
So you don't have to be a like 5-star journalist to figure this out. And so you kind of know who the banks are, the ones that are controlling the policies.
Yes.
It's just staring at you in the face, and then you can't investigate them because you can't invest a company that you previously worked for. So that's how they kind of drift under the radar with it.
Right.
And so, but you can see what's going on. So you got the war that's going on there, and then you have the people that are fighting for the people through decentralization. So you have this multifaceted thing that's going on.
Yeah, like a lot of people, when there was like a last summer, there was a shortage of physical change, and there was like people were like, oh my God, it's happening, it's beginning. I was like, well, I mean, change will come back around at some point too. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not going to go away forever. I mean, it's here.
They're going to get rid of it because everything's going towards Web3 and blockchain, and so essentially governments want to control,
Right.
for the most part.
Yeah, they always want.
So if we can all agree that governments want to control, which I don't see why you would disagree with that,
Right.
through like CBDCs, which are central bank digital currencies. Right now, if you take that dollar and you go spend it, there's not much information you can tell about that dollar aside from the serial number, when it was made, maybe if it was part of an investigation. You can only pull up so much information on that dollar bill.
Right.
But a CBDC, that's the same value of that dollar. Well, every single business that ever went through, where it ever transacted through, whoever, everywhere.
Wow.
And so what's going to have to happen? What's going to have to happen in the crypto world is we're going to have a crypto bill of rights, because due to privacy and stuff like that.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of people quite understand how serious this is, because, I mean, Canada is a good example. So we're going to operate on a cashless society. I think it's going to happen within 5 to 10 years.
and you're excited?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
Because everything becomes like, you don't have to carry anything. Everything, like, you pay everything through your phone.
Right.
NFTs are going to be your receipts, your concert tickets, the deeds to your house. Everything's going to be stored information on that. Now,
Wow, that's crazy.
and as good as things can get, it can also go to the exact opposite. So that's why there needs to be a Bill of Rights for that.
Right.
And so I'm excited for it because I like seeing tech and the evolution of how everything goes with that,
Right.
But if it goes the bad way, and this is what we got to watch out for, it doesn't matter whether a left person is in control or the right person's in control. It doesn't matter. It's totalitarianism, no matter what end of the spectrum you're on.
Yeah.
Because if it operates on a CBDC and, oh, you were part of this and we geographically located you on this thing, boom, they just froze every single asset. You have no money, you have no assets,
Yeah.
which is not cool. Like, it's that's not freedom. So that's why there needs to be a crypto bill of rights. And there's kind of ways around the Constitution that they're doing with this, because it's not through government organizations, it's through private companies.
Right.
So, but I think we're going in the right direction with it.
Okay.
So
Now
we'll see.
When
Now-
does the pounding start?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
So
got
yeah,
distracted,
yeah.
got
To take us
distracted.
back.
Okay, so anyhow, back's broke, all this whole thing.
Yeah.
Basically got to the point where I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to... Well, actually, we were talking about the BP stuff, so I'm going to speed through that real quick.
Yep.
Long story short, I went through 3 years where I only had 2 weeks of memory each year. BP messed everything up. No memory of anything else that happened aside from 2 weeks.
Okay.
And so those 2 weeks, it was like waking up and not recognizing where I'm at or anything. So I just started doing research. Figured out it's BP. I read every study on it, but what I also did is I read every comment on every study. And that was probably the most insightful thing.
Okay.
So then what I noticed was a common denominator of people that had BP did really, really well on a high-fat diet.
Okay.
I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And so now I started looking at macro data. Why is the U.S. accelerating in mental illness in a greater proportion than the rest of the world?
Okay.
Well, Well, the only common denominator from that would be food.
Yep.
So you look at that now, our parents were taught not to eat fat, their parents and their parents and their parents were all taught not to eat fat. So no wonder we have a whole generation with fat deficiency, which has a direct correlation to the emotional campus. Anxiety, depression, type 1, type 2 bipolar, all this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, all the bad stuff.
Yeah, so now it makes sense.
Yeah.
And long story short, I found some nootropics that really helped excite the brain and keep it connected and fill it with all the nutrients. And then I tripled the daily dose of high quality fish oils and healed itself over 3 months.
Wow. Damn, that's pretty impressive.
And so it took 3 years to figure that out. And
But you figured it out, though, no matter how long the work was, right? Or how hard the work was, you figured it out.
it was figured out or die trying.
Yeah, that's
basically.
right. So how did you make that transition from having the back broke and just you started obviously healing and getting better, and then when did adult entertainment become a proposition?
We're coming up on that.
Okay.
So you was in the hospital with a broken back, right?
No, he didn't know that. He was saying he was doing stuff, but there was he didn't have.
Broken back to breaking backs.
L5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know.
Basically. So, I know we're getting there, but there's
Okay.
the precursor is rather important for me.
Okay, understood.
So, after all that, the whole mental illness, I basically said, I got all the scar tissue. I tore the scar tissue up.
Oof.
I was like, just going to tear it up. If I'm either going to die or I'm going to figure out how to walk again.
Okay.
And then I had a friend of mine was a body worker, so she realigned the fascia, and I had to literally relearn how to walk again. So all that done, I reverse engineered a video game at the time and got a job as a change management specialist. Yeah, that was fun times. I can't just play a game. I had to reverse engineer it and figure out why it worked.
How it worked, and what it did, and then you ended up working with the video game company.
No, ironically, it was a game called Elder Scrolls Online, and it was this big war game. And
Okay.
So I found a runaway variables with it. So I emailed the developers like, "Yo, your game's broke. This is all you got to do to fix it." Well, they never responded. I was like, "All right, well, screw you guys. I'm going to take advantage of all these runaway variables." So I grabbed my 4 friends and we capitalize on that.
Whoa.
And so it's just, you're supposed to be like 100 people versus 100 people versus 100 people, but it never goes that way. It usually means everybody joins 2 factions and then you have a few people on the other.
Okay.
So we played on the other one because we were like the quote unquote Dark Brotherhood, and people that wanted to come play with us, they had to become the assassins. So the drinking game that we played was you had to pick a target, and that was the only target you could kill that whole night. So if they were in a group of 50 people, you had to sneak in, kill that person, and get out.
Oh wow. Booyah.
And
Crazy.
we got ridiculously good. We just started destroying streamers like left and right. And so
Wow.
after I capitalized on these runaway variables, my character had, he was 98% damage reduction, healed a third of its health every second, and killed everybody in one hit. It was beyond broken. And so I became the emperor of the world, and all of the streamers were like, "This is the dude that's been running our streams and killing us." So they all flooded. So me and my 4 friends, we wiped out everybody.
Nice.
Took out everyone. We ended up all over
Annihilation.
the forums. Yeah, completely wiped them all out. One of the guys, one night,
All right.
he was my mark for that night for the drinking game. Killed him like 43 fucking times or something like that.
Okay.
So he came over to chat with us. He's like, "What are you doing?" And so he was really nice. So I told him, I was like, "Yeah, this is what I'm doing." And he's like, I own a change management firm. We're restructuring a company right now. Do you mind if I send you a problem? I would just want to get your take on it. So he sends it over to me, and I analyze it. And I really didn't want to, so I kind of like half-assed it. I just kind of glanced at it for like half an hour, and I was like, well, honestly, this is what I would do. Like, I would take these processes and move them out. I would focus on these core aspects of the company, realign all these, and then you're gonna have to take your midline managers and train them up on it so that you actually have a full adoption over. I just gave him a whole like, that's how I would do it, and blew his mind away. So I started working for him.
Okay.
So that was my job. I went from like, barely living off of disability from the military to like now I got a job, and then after that, I finished my degree in business project management, which took me out to San Diego. And so I became a project manager out there. Well, they didn't have a program, so I had to build a program. And not only did I build a program, I figured out how to automate like 90% of the work through Excel. And I didn't know how to use Excel at the time, but I knew people on the campus did. So I would ask the students there, because everyone there on that campus, they're all engineers. So I was like, who do you know that's really good with Excel? This is what I'm trying to do. So they kept referring me to people, and I found someone. And he's like, yeah, I can do that for you. He's like, no, don't do it for me. Show me. And so he taught me, and then I understood how to, so I programmed this whole Excel sheet, and I automized 90% of the workload. So I went from contracted, I could only work 40 hours a week, but I needed to do 70 hours of work a week, all the way down to doing everything in 6 hours of work that week. And so I got told a lot that I looked like Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
All the time when I was on campus. So I was like, it was kind of like a thing. I was like, well, maybe I should just go do a film, just to say I did nothing crazy like a student film or a film festival. So I went out and I did a film festival, and I played the host of a Sexaholic Anonymous class for a political comedy that did really well, and then I was the action hero for a film. Well, for this action film, they had this warehouse, and we only had it for a small amount of time, and I had to do this big fight scene. No one knew martial arts, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
And so I asked the director, I was like, can I just choreograph this? And he's like, we have to be out of here in an hour. I was like, got it. Told everybody, fight me. Like, pull your punches, just fight me for real. You know when you're knocked out. Don't Hollywood it. You know, like, don't overreact. And so we went at it. One person Hollywooded it, and he ate a knee to the face. So I called cut, and I was like, guys, if you Hollywood it, I can't predict where you're going because you offset your center of gravity.
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt me. None of you guys know what you're doing. Just fight me. You'll know when you're knocked out. And we shot the whole thing one take.
Cool.
So I started getting side gigs. I'm working as a project manager. I automated everything, but I started getting side gigs to do all this acting stuff. I had no intention of ever being an actor. I also had no intention of ever becoming a porn star. Like, I've never said that in my life.
Wow.
Ever. And so I started making more money acting than I was as a project manager.
How'd that
Well, I had no time.
right? You were just so busy you didn't even know. Yeah.
And so I told him, I was like, well, if I can do this and maintain this for 6 months, then I'll dedicate a year to figuring it out and seeing if it goes someplace. So I did that, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to give it a year and see if I can go somewhere with it. So I ended up on a TV show. It was a military TV show. Shouldn't have been on the TV show. I was cutting weight for a fitness competition, and I've already done a bunch of projects for them, so they knew I could act. But they wanted me to send in a video audition.
Okay.
I've never auditioned for shit. I don't even know what the fuck that is. And so he's like, yeah, and don't forget to slate it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if you're ever cutting weight, you have like the patience threshold of like a fucking hair. Like, you know, you just, no dice. My computer's not working. Everything is just like, fuck this shit, but I'm a man of my word. So I told him I was going to submit it. So finally got it working. I was like, what's a slate? Google, what is a slate? And I was like, oh, it's my fucking name. So I hit record. I was like, my name's Will Motherfucking Weed. I'm going to read you this stupid ass script. And then I read it monotone.
Just like this.
Just like that. Just like that.
Oh, that's
Didn't think I was going to get the part. Apparently what happened is the casting director and the director, they watched it, and when it said, my name's Will Motherfucking, they paused it and said, that's the guy. And so that's how I got the part.
Wow.
So now I'm on this military TV show, and I'm running pranks. If I'm bored, like if I've got a lot of time, that's why I researched to keep my mind busy. So there wasn't a lot of time, so I just started running pranks because they had a lot of downtime. If you know anything about mainstream acting, it's a lot of sitting around until
Hurry up to wait.
Basically, it's like the military all over again. And so these pranks started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and some of them were going viral on social media and doing really, really well for them. And then they had a guest adult film star for one of the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to shoot a scene.
Here we go.
And so
Get your KY.
and so she wanted to shoot a scene.
Okay.
Yeah, she wanted to shoot a scene with me. And I told her no. Like, that would mess with my acting career. What the fuck? I can't do that. She's like, well, let's make a bet of it. No. I was like, okay. Well, I got to go. This production had to shoot around already prior booked work. So I had to go shoot a commercial for a resort and then fly back and play Captain America at Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right. If those two jobs cancel, I got nothing else going on. Sure. Why not? So that's the bet. I threw it out to the universe. I was like, boom.
Spoke it out.
9 a.m., my agent calls me, got some bad news.
Ah.
Both jobs canceled.
Woo. Hey, you spoke it out there.
So,
Hey, baby.
so I'm like, okay, well, shit. I guess the universe just said I need to go be a porn star.
Man.
I put it out to the universe, and the universe answered.
Yeah, it sure did.
So I was like, all right. So I go out there, go do my first scene. But then I remembered I had been pranking these fuckers for a while. Like 4 weeks of just bigger and bigger pranks. Like, I'm doing some fucked up shit. So I I didn't even get to videotape all the shit I was doing. I was doing it just for the fun of it. And so in mainstream, when you act, usually you have to do the same scene over and over and over time. I've done the same monologue scene 43 times before.
Wow.
So you never give the biggest performance the first one. You wait for the close-ups and all this kind of stuff. So I go up there. It's my first adult scene. And I didn't want to put all my acting into it at the beginning. So I was like, you got to figure out your blocking and all this stuff. So he films it. And I go, and he's like, oh, you're really good. And I was like, oh, okay. Right. So we go to the next bit. He's like, wow, you're a natural. You're really good at this. And I'm like, yeah, you're just blowing smoke up my ass.
Hello, gorgeous.
Gassing you up.
So that's exactly what I thought.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, this is a setup. They're getting me back. Like they're getting me back because this is like revenge mode right now.
Right.
I was like, you're gonna get me caught with my pants down. Like I know it, but I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna own it. And so, so it comes out time where she's about to whip it out. She undoes the belt, whip it out. I'm sitting like here and I'm looking around like, all right.
Hello, beautiful.
When are they coming out?
Wait, what is she whipping out?
My little guy.
All right.
Yeah.
It's just a little thing, just a little thing of them, So she goes to whip him out, puts it in her mouth, and I'm looking around like, all right, when are these guys coming? Nobody comes. Like nobody's saying, "Ha, I got you." Nobody's laughing. And I was like, oh shit, this is really a porno. I was like, fuck it. All
Real
right,
deal.
we're here. Shot it, and then ended up winning awards every single year, and the career just blew up.
Yeah. So are you still active in the business, or have you retired?
Oh no, I just got done shooting 4 features.
Hell yeah, dude! Like, what's a normal like a week, a work week? How many scenes would you shoot in a normal work week, or is it like more than 2 or 3, or?
So that depends. So in the industry for guys, it's different for women, but for guys, the success rate of a guy to actually go be able to perform in front of a camera is like less than 1%.
Whoa, for real?
Way less than 1%.
Wow.
So I'll give you a story if you'd like a story to describe how few people actually can do that job.
Really spooky.
So one of my director friends, he's a jiu-jitsu guy. There was a producer that came up to me. They wanted to film the next show to find the next big male adult star.
Okay.
Oh, no!
And so he told them it's not going to happen. And they were like, what? Why? He's like, once every 4 years, you get a good guy. Once every 9 years, you get an exceptional guy. Outside of that, there's nothing.
Settle down, Beavis.
And he's like, no, we're going to interview thousands of guys. Like, we're going to find it. He's like, I tell you what, you pay me up front, I'll film it.
Sensational.
So he agreed.
Right.
They interviewed 3,000 people. 300 people made the cut.
No fucking way.
And this was the perfect scenario. Like, gorgeous girl, full-figured, wants to be there, good personnel, like just the whole thing.
Inviting.
Very inviting. Not like you're showing up there with someone that's stuck up, doesn't really want to be there, and you're on a time limit. Everybody's paycheck depends on you being able to get it up.
Right.
That was some of my first ones.
Dude, I was about to say, did you ever encounter that where a girl?
Oh,
like,
I'll get to that one.
okay.
I'm high right now, so we
All
gotta,
right,
we gotta go
bring
story
it.
by story, and
Bring
we gotta
it.
make sure I stay on track.
Kickback.
So basically, 300 people made the cut.
Sexy time.
Out of those 300 people, only 4 people got it up.
What in front of the camera?
No, camera hasn't come out yet.
Oh, just period.
4 people got it up.
In front of people.
Then the camera comes out. Everybody lost it.
Wow.
Camera goes away. 2 people kind of got it back up. One of them busted with the limp one.
Okay.
And then the other one, the camera came out, couldn't do it. The girl didn't touch a single one.
What the fuck?
Nobody could get it up.
Damn.
Over the line!
Dude.
That's not very nice.
Yeah, it sounds. Wow. So out of all the started with 3,000, right? Went to 300. Went to
Stop
4,
fucking around.
and then everybody was just. Like,
No, couldn't do it with the camera out.
I mean,
Think-
just the odds just dropped.
I think they needed a shot of some Hennessy.
Wow.
Doesn't work, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
So it's different on a set than when you're at home.
Yeah.
Of course.
Way different. And I wouldn't take anything that would mess up with your system. No coffee, no nicotine. People do it. I recommend not because they're vasoconstrictors. You drink caffeine or you smoke too much nicotine, the blood vessels start shrinking. That's also why people that consume those tend to get really slow conversation-wise in the afternoon and evening. Fun
What about smoking weed?
A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
It's considered medicine, so they can't
Yes.
really tell you can't.
It's true.
Smoke.
It is.
Yeah, it is. And so what happens is for new guys that get in, you're not going to work for the big companies.
Okay.
Just they're not going to, because everybody's paycheck, everyone's independent contractor, so everybody's paycheck depends on completing the scene. Like they have to make a scene to sell it back. So if they don't make a scene, now they got to pay the kill fees, the location fees, all this kind of stuff, and they're just out of pocket. So everybody's paycheck rides on you getting it up, and if you don't get it up, they have a bunch of fees that they have to pay.
Ooh. I mean, no pressure.
No pressure at all. And so when you first get in, you're going to work with like the really low tier companies, the people that don't have big budgets and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
And that comes with the low tier talent that don't really want to be there because they're not doing anything unethical. I've never encountered anything unethical. And the few cases that do happen, they get outed really quick, and the industry corrects itself. So it's very, very ethical. It's very, very run. Most people don't realize that it's very well kept.
Wow. Okay.
The outside perception is the exact opposite, ironically. But being on a mainstream set to an adult set, if you were to close your eyes and listen to the talks that go on, you would think you're on an adult set on a mainstream set.
Wow.
Because what we talk about on an adult set is we're either talking about the scenario that we're doing and how to make it good, or we're talking about stocks, investment, marketing, all the business analytics to run a business because we're all business owners. So
Wow.
Big think tanks mostly.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So back to the story is, so which story was I talking about? I'm sorry, this is really getting to me.
Oh, crap.
Because we got like two.
Yeah, you were talking about being
Your
on-
first time.
My first time?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'll talk about one of my first ones. I show up there. It's they're shooting 4 scenes in a day. So they're trying to turn and burn super quick. And the girl I'm working with, no interest. Like, doesn't even want to talk. No.
Not even hi.
not
Hello.
no. Like, oh, hi, I'm da-da-da-da.
I'm about to enter you.
And I'm
Hi,
trying to
my-
like, I'm like, oh, let's have a conversation. Like I'm new, a little bit nervous.
Hey,
you're kind of doing the thing, and not interested. And then like just, I'm sure she's dealing with her own stuff. I don't know what that is, but I'm like, okay,
Dude.
got it. Okay,
Jesus
noted.
Christ.
So we start the scene. Now we're being rushed because everybody's on set because they didn't plan anything right. So they had all the talent for all 4 scenes show up at the exact same time. So everyone's like, hurry up so we can get going so we can get home. They messed up.
Right.
Is he hot?
But you're working for the low tier production, so they don't really care.
Is he
Nobody cares.
hot?
And so she was yeah.
Bobby, put him in the bed.
Yeah. I mean, coming from where I was at to where I was starting out at, it was
Okay.
going through going through the trenches.
Okay.
Going through the trenches. And so no traction, no connection, no nothing. And I'm being rushed, and their paycheck depends on me performing.
Oh.
And if you can't do it in that situation, you're done because you fail the scene. They lose the money. They talk to everybody else. Yeah, don't use this guy. He can't cut it.
Oof.
Done.
Wasted time.
So
Dude.
I managed to pull it off, but I can feel everything that happens in my body independently. Like if I remember something, I know where it's stored at in my brain. It's really weird like that. I thought that was normal most of my life. I didn't realize it wasn't. And so I know how to actually work anatomically different than most people. When it comes to scenes, I can, we call it the pop shot or the money shot. I can do the money shot as many times in a day as I want.
Wow.
18 times is the most. I've shot 6 scenes in a day.
Jesus.
18
pretty
times,
hot.
dude, in a
I'd do
day?
it.
And you could also hold it.
Yes. But I can.
That's a skill, man. That's a skill.
Hey, you, sir, are a champion in my book.
Champion.
That's pretty fucking amazing, dude. 18 times. Jesus.
No fucking way.
But there's I studied a lot about the human body and
I'm sure.
Nice
You
job,
got to get
sir.
in
there's
tune.
not just like going in and doing it. Like
Right.
understand
Nice
how all
job,
the
sir.
mechanics work.
Yes.
You know, like I know how to manage free floating testosterone, how to affect those, and like there's a whole bunch that comes into play. So
Okay. Rad.
it's not just like you're entering without knowing anything and like, yeah, I can do this. You know,
I mean, but there's that too.
Bring it.
a little bit, but yeah.
Bring it.
So damn. I mean, so
So I ended up doing that scene. Now, those 3,000 people in that interview, the scenario that they had is they had a 10 out of 10 girl, super attractive, very inviting, have a conversation, like the whole nine. Perfect scenario. Couldn't get it up.
what they would consider like, oh man, I took her down and I was like, oh man, it was so tight. Like they couldn't even. Wow.
And
Nerves.
so here's, and I'll explain the psychological process that happens if you want to know.
Yes.
So what happens is when you go up in there, you're lit up like the 4th of July. You know, most people have never
Yeah,
really gotten naked, much less a hard-on in front of other people. And on top of that, you don't just have other people, you have a room full of people that are judging you if you can even do it.
And watching, right?
Am I going to? No one's not. No one cares. They're like, am I going to get home early? Like, no one actually cares about. Like, it's so regular because it's like you're so used to seeing the body.
Right.
You know, it's just normal.
It's just work.
But they're like, am I going to be here all day? Are we going to get done? Like, you know, so you're getting. There's a lot of pressure at the beginning. So you already got that. So you're like, most people come in with a really big ego, and then it doesn't respond how it normally responds at home.
No way, fool.
Because most people have some degree of a connection.
Right.
No matter how minuscule it is, some degree.
Something.
Well, it's hard to actually pull that off if you don't know how to build rapport with people. And
Oh,
this kind of stuff.
crap.
So it doesn't respond the right way. So now that's the first seed of doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Now the way that humans work is you go into what's called a fight or flight syndrome. That's stress. That's
Right.
anxiety. Anxiety leads into fight or flight. That's kind of basically what it is. So you start getting a little bit stressed or your anxiety from doing that. Well, now it starts to downward spiral.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
So it's not quite working right. And so it's not responding the same. So your stress level gets a little bit up. Or now you're on a time crunch because everybody's waiting for you to get it up. We shot everything up for it. It's time for you to get out, you know.
Right.
But then, you know, you need a minute, take a minute. But that minute, you're thinking like, oh shit, everybody's waiting on me. The girl's waiting on me.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's like now it's tacking it on.
Hey, yeah, man.
And that's where that's the downward spiral. Once you hit that downward spiral, there's no coming back.
So what you got to do? Like trick the brain?
You're done. If
Yeah.
that
Gonna
happens
do?
to you, you're done. You can take all the pills in the world. You can take all the Viagra you want, all the Cialis you want. It's not going to work.
Yeah, because it's all that pressure on
Butterfly.
you.
What if you was blindfolded?
Doesn't matter.
You think
it's
you
in your
think
head. Doesn't matter.
you would feel the people around you?
You actually
I
can.
mean-
That is you can actually feel people watching.
I mean, just the thing. I mean, there's some people who are like, don't leave the lights on. You know what I mean? So if you put them in a room of lights.
Relax.
the fight or flight. Like
Right.
once that goes in there, the last biological response of your body will be your dick in a fight or flight state.
So
Wow.
another thing, like when it comes to the chicks, like could you pick a chick, or they always had a chick for you? Like this is
No,
the one.
It's always a sign.
You in the low tiers, you usually when you get booked, you're like, this is who we're booking you with, so you know who you're going to work with.
Okay.
Like they kind of tell, like, hey, this is the scene, this is the girl that they're shooting. You know, here's your time. You know, like, so you get that. Later on, when you kind of have like a name and you're kind of established, sometimes you can kind of like, here's the list of girls that we can shoot. Which one would you like us to try? And both. So you kind of have some leeway at some point, but if you're a really good guy in the industry, you just like, you need the scene, you just do the scene. So it's not like you're really picking.
That's right.
It's very much a business. It's like
Wow. All right.
It's very like we show up, we fill out all the paperwork, we fill out the consent paperwork, then we go over like the do's and don'ts.
Right.
What do you not like? What are your off limits? What do you like? What do you enjoy? Because I always ask those questions personally. I don't know if too many other people ask those ones, but I want to know what makes you feel good because then it's going to look better on camera.
Right.
I like your style, dude.
That's dope.
You know, so it's then we film everything out, and then we go over, well, what is the scene? What is the scenario? And then we go and we film the whole thing.
It's very
I'm
much.
your huckleberry.
It's like
Just like a mainstream set.
yeah.
It's a lot of role playing, right?
Well, so a lot of people outside the industry look back and they think of like the old Gonzo days where it was just get a camcorder and bang the bitches, you know, type of thing.
Yeah. Like, or is it like the you know with the pizza delivery scenario?
Yeah, you know,
like,
the plumber comes over.
I got a question. What's up with all the step-brother, stepmother, mother-daughter, mother-son porn? What's going on with that?
what
Anytime
else?
you go to Pornhub, first thing you see is mother-son porn. It's
And
like,
we
yo,
love it.
what's going on here?
it's like the stepsister's stuck in the dryer, and then the brother comes behind. Like, oh, hey!
Holy shit, dude.
So I had the same question. Like when I got in, I was like nobody I know actually likes shooting that stuff.
Wow.
Nobody. And so I was like, what is up with that? Like, why do we got to do these ridiculous crap? So I was talking to some of my buds who've been directing for like decades in the industry, and they're like, no, it's not some, you know, cabal theory or some whatever trying to brainwash. I was like, no, it's like one company did it once just out of like a fuck it scenario, and
Right.
like, yeah, well, what are we gonna do? And he's like, yeah, and they bang each other. They're like, and so they put that out. Well, the internet broke.
God damn it!
And now it's everywhere,
And so,
right?
well, yeah. So that performed so well because everyone's like, "Oh shit, can you even do that?" And so it got a lot of attention, and
Yeah.
so that what started the trend.
Yeah. That's
yourself.
It's a crazy thing, you know, like.
But it's not probably really mothers.
Oh,
and
no,
sons.
no, no.
no. It's all.
Oh, you can, so there's this other guy in the industry. We the same age. I have played his dad before, and he's played my dad before.
I'm going to a whorehouse, and I'm gonna get
We're
my
the same
fuck on.
age.
Wow.
It just what happened was walk on a set, and one of us, whoever had the beard and whoever didn't, that's how it picked it.
Wow.
And whoever thinks that porn is real, like you're special kind of stupid. I'd like to sell you this product.
It's a lot of acting.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Hey,
gonna ask.
because it's really like it's like action, bam, you know, it starts going as soon as the AL cut, bam, it's done, right?
And you got to be extra, right? When
Well, you're
What do you
trying
mean
to.
extra?
porn, like extra noisy. The woman probably you don't want to quiet.
It depends.
bitch.
Dude, listen.
Just like you have brands. Some brands are the extra over-the-top noise. Some brands are trying to get more real, authentic as best you can while filming it, kind of like a voyeur thing. So you got different brands for those.
Have you worked in both scenarios where it's like the people that are like, oh, we want the more noisy, or like, oh, we want the more subdued, just like.
You want
believable.
Spielberg.
I have done everything.
Hey man, I gotta say, one of the coldest lines I've ever heard in my life is he said that you know, man, I wish I still had fantasies. And that was the cold, like, dude, think about that. Everyone has fantasies.
You got the juice now.
And he's just like, I remember those days.
What do you think of like low production sets? Like, I feel like a lot of porn now is going to like more streaming. People just streaming it at their house.
Yeah.
Like porn stars just streaming it at their house. They don't need a production set anymore. They don't need
OnlyFans.
that giant. Yeah, they don't need all that money behind it. They can just do it right at home.
From their phone.
Yes. So now we're basically talking business structures and brands and stuff like that. So the whole amateur market, the vast majority of that is moving from, it used to be the studios owned it. And now through platforms like OF and ManyVids and all these other ones, they basically, now they can do it themselves and they cut the person out. There are some performers who do full blown out scenes and hire the directors that shoot the stuff to shoot their own scenes for their OF and for their own websites. Honestly, it's probably been the best thing because the adult industry had been corporatized. So it's owned by a bunch of very wealthy people up in Canada, and they run everything off of analytics. And so that's kind of how that goes. And so now you have the performers that build up these big fan bases, and now they're able to create their own business out of it.
Yeah.
Do that.
And with their own branding of them, you know, in the thing that they do, as opposed to doing it for someone else. It's for themselves, and they're able to. And that's crazy. You said they would hire directors to shoot their OnlyFans material that they would normally shoot for a scene, a movie.
Some of them they don't. Sometimes they do both. Sometimes they shoot a lot of just their own with their cell phone. Sometimes they want to do like a big fancy project, with like roles and stuff. That's because they're passionate about creating the scenario and the thing. Then they'll hire the professionals to come in and shoot it and make it look like that. So they're putting out the whole wide variety of it.
Like super quality. Like, did you notice like as soon as the pandemic started, like a lot of people started going to? I mean, obviously all the sets shut down. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, everything shut down.
So everything became like a lot. I noticed a lot of OnlyFans accounts started popping up. Where people saying, "Yeah, you catch me on OF," or like I was like, "Oh,
people got to make money."
Absolutely, it definitely helped during the pandemic. I'd say.
Well, here's how I look at it is, so there's a lot of people that like have a problem with people doing the adult work. I was like, rightfully so. It's not for everybody. And when people ask me, or if they're like, because I had a girl come up and I was going to shoot her first scene in the industry. She was really excited. Apparently, she had been a fan of mine for a while. And she told me, she's like, actually, I'm a little bit nervous on this. I was like, you know what? If you're nervous and you're having doubts, don't do it. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Money gets printed every single day.
Right.
Don't do it. Go home, think about it. And then I was like, well, what do you want to do? She's like, I kind of want to do this. I was like, all right. So I gave her a path to go and research that and see if that's a direction that she wanted to go.
Right on.
And so I don't actively try to get people to come in there. Like,
right.
if you have a doubt, go for it.
Yeah.
But my mindset, I was in the military, and military basically owned me. I broke my body for the military.
Right.
And so what's the difference between me using my body to make an income for myself, where no one can tell me my hours to show up and all this kind of stuff,
right,
versus what the government did when I worked for them?
The content basically works for you while you're while you're doing whatever. Like, you could be it's working while you're sleeping. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and and they're like, well, it's sex trafficking. I was like, I have not seen a single case of sex trafficking in the professional area. I'm sure it happens, and I don't want to discredit anybody who has gone through that. In fact, my fiance and myself, she's the chairwoman for the Cupcake Girls, and we support them because it's a nonprofit organization that if anybody actually kind of wants to donate money to that, what they do is they help victims of sex trafficking to give them all of the resources that they need to recover and
right on
go about their lives. So it's a really good project on
That's
there.
Cool. Cupcake Girls?
Cupcake Girls, yeah.
Okay.
And so I've never seen any case like that, because I've had some like evangelistic types come after me, like trying to talk to them. I was like, I have not seen anything. In fact, we sign consent,
everything's on paper, right?
If there's anything that you don't like, you have the full ability to call stop, cut, quit. If you don't want to do the scene at that point over, boom, done. You're not going to get paid because you got paid to finish a scene.
Right.
But if for whatever reason you don't want to do it, okay, no problem. Like,
done.
It's over. Like,
yeah.
So if you want to be there, you be there. So you get people that's what they want to do, and I don't. Get the fuck out! So like, I think there's a miscommunication, but I think as social media and things are coming out, I think that bridge in information is kind of getting filled.
All right. Now you're going to be hosting Subversive, right?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, we got the flyer right here.
Look at that right there.
Nice.
Well,
yeah.
That's Subversive. That's going on next weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Commerce Casino and Hotel.
Yeah, so on Subversive, it's going down Saturday, June 11th.
Correct.
And it's the Battle of the Brands is back. Subversive 7 is one of the world's biggest jiu-jitsu team tournament events, taking place at the Commerce Casino and Hotel. Get your tickets, and it will be brought to you live on Fight TV.
Woo! That's tight. That's going to be fun. What is it, next Saturday? Yeah, the 11th.
Yep.
Right?
I'm gonna be there. I'll check that out.
I think I might go check it out.
And I also got to let everybody know we got a new funky drop starting Wednesday today. There we go.
Yeah.
It's called the Tiffany, and it's going to be dropping Friday at 4:20.
Yeah, this Friday.
Coming in the classic and the fatty size. And we do have a bunch available, so they are not limited like the last selection.
That means Callie Blaze and Steph Town are going to buy more.
They're probably going to buy 4, 5, or 6
Yeah,
just
yeah.
for the backups.
Yeah.
But no, check them out at funkyfieldtips.com, and it is called the Tiffany.
The Tiffany.
Tiffany with a PH. And Tiffany is my favorite stripper or porn star name. There we go. Tiffany.
That's your favorite stripper name?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well,
so anytime
reminds
you
me of the Midwest. Tiffany.
Tiffany?
Yeah.
Hey, Tiff.
Roll your joints, you know.
You know what I mean?
It's got the whole inlets on both sides.
Hey, Will, who's your favorite porn star you've worked with?
Ooh. Gosh.
Yeah, do you have a favorite?
I've got a lot of favorites.
That's dope.
More or less, I got a lot of friends.
Cool.
That's basically what it is. We're just like a big old group of friends, and so like when we get to work with each other, like, oh yeah, awesome, it's gonna be an awesome scene because we know how we all work.
That's cool.
It's in. Oh my God, it's in.
Oh my gosh.
Top 2?
Yeah, just top 2 or 3.
Okay, well I would say Charlotte Stokely. And Kenna James.
Excellent.
Nice.
Well done.
Save your research for later, y'all.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Shit, there you are. Just typed it right in on Google. There we go.
And Charlotte Stokely is my girl,
Hell yeah.
so it works out.
That does work out.
Snazzy suit.
Thank you. I'll probably be wearing that this weekend.
Hell yeah.
No, this tournament. So I'm huge jiu-jitsu fan.
Yes.
I actually got a funny adult story that led me back into jiu-jitsu. I wouldn't even be here had this not happened.
So wait.
But no, I'm dead
Led you back into
into
jiu-jitsu.
jiu-jitsu. So when I broke my back, I was done. No
Right.
more jiu-jitsu. It was gone.
Right.
And there was this other male star in the industry that was just talking mad smack about jiu-jitsu all the time. And I was like, he was getting under me. I was like, hey, what about this? He's like, no, like very set in it. And I was like, bro, you're not the only dude that does jiu-jitsu in the industry, man. Like, I did this for a living. He didn't believe me. So we go to, I showed up to his gym and just straight rickrolled him. And then
Bullshit.
the other instructor, he was a former world champion. And so we rolled and he's like, oh shit, you know what you're fucking doing. So I started training again. So that's what got me back into jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
And then, so I ended up I ended up fighting Lachlan Giles on like these team tournaments. And this was a while back, and I shouldn't have even been on that thing, because my buddy, he was friends with like the head jiu-jitsu guys. I'm not trying to shout out names or anything like that, but he was really good friends with them. Like, hey, we need a 185er, you know, for this thing. He's like, okay, I can give you somebody that you know that'll be good, or I can give you someone that you don't know that's a killer. And he's like, you tell me which one you want.
Ooh.
Because I have that series that I learned from Barrett. I would go in and I teach seminars all the time. And what I do with the seminars, because a lot of people are like, oh, he's an adult star, you know, he's not good. So I'm like, okay. And I just did this recently. So I told him, I was like, all right, so what we're going to do is start the class, and we're going to go into live rolls right after warm-ups. We're going to go 3 minutes, and then tell me who are the brown and black belts. And so I go right to the brown and black belts, and then I run them through my whole series that I'm teaching the seminar on. And so then after I go through all them, then we stopped the free roll. I was like, all right, everybody, today we have Will Pounder. He's going to be teaching you about the Crucifix series, and then I show up and I'm like, all right, so you guys are going to pay attention because I just tapped every single one of you to this series, and now everyone is like glued. And so then I break it down, and it becomes like a fun in a game. It's like a whole game for it.
Does it turn into a porn?
I don't know what kind of porn you watch, man. That's some shit.
Damn, that would be.
That would be a nice porn, though.
We all have our thing.
Jiu-jitsu teacher, you know, got some girls show up for class. The next thing you know,
I'm sure it's been done before.
Dude, Psycho Les, the porn director.
Yeah, like set the scene, Les.
we got you.
Set the. So, yo, we got a lot of submissions, Colton.
Yeah, we got a few submissions.
All right, let's go ahead and get these submissions.
Yeah, we'll rock for a few here.
Let's do it.
Time for submissions. 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 Time for submissions.
What up?
squeeze.
First of all, can you just put the camera back on Snacks because his fit is too fresh to death right now? Ooh, he looks so like, see, when he's got the spectacles, his spectacles,
Settle down.
he looks like he's way more of an intelligent,
Yeah, baby.
in a more intelligent, I would say, intellectual mindset, with especially with the icon hat and then the Cypress Hill drip right there, man.
Yeah.
Snacks has been filling in for Bobo while Bobo and B are on tour, so he just every day he's got Snacks. He's got a fresh new fit. So we're really stoked and appreciative of Snacks being so fresh to death. Thank you, Sir Snacks.
I have a controversial question to Will.
What's up?
Has anybody ever tried to con you into like bestiality porn?
Oh, fuck no.
Settle down.
Oh, dude.
Dude, that's gross, man.
Yeah.
Question.
That was pathetic.
That was, controversial.
It's happening.
Yeah, next.
Well, we got creeps up in here saying he's smoking some Kush mints crossed with some pound cake.
Ooh, look at that.
Looks tasty.
Golden.
And next up in here, we got Dan saying we don't burger the same.
Ooh. Damn. Dan, if you would have been here yesterday after the show and we had Bart's live and direct, live and direct.
Yeah, y'all Asylum missed out yesterday.
Oof, you really did, though. You really did. But thank you. That burger does look delicious.
And the new Bloomberg report came out that Generation Z prefers pot or mushrooms to alcohol.
Yeah.
Got the
yeah.
young ones. There we go.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah, baby.
I love it. Because I remember at my high school parties, it was all alcohol. Maybe a little bit of weed, but it was always someone getting too drunk, throwing up, just
Alcohol
unnecessary.
causes problems.
Absolutely, all the time.
Well, that's one thing about Subversive. They got their cannabis friendly.
Yes.
They invite that in. It's part of the culture of doing
That's
jiu-jitsu.
cool.
You know what else they did that I thought was really cool? That meant something to me personally. They started as a nonprofit with vets, just to throw the tournament.
No way.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Because that's kind of where I started jiu-jitsu. I was like, oh shit.
Badass.
Dope.
Oh, yeah.
And we got Mike Phillips up in here saying, I really miss Prince, so I drew a mustache on Rihanna.
Oh, come on, man. That's brilliant, though. Dearly beloved. Woo! Hey. Yeah, his birthday's coming up next Tuesday. I got a gig I'll tell you about later.
And Senor Smokers letting us know the maker of Sam Adams beer is unleashing weed-based teas.
Uh-oh. What does that mean?
Releasing across Canada this summer.
Uh-oh. E-zone.
Cannabis-infused teas.
So, that... Okay. Sure.
Cool.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The weed is always fun and good.
And we got Steve-O from the 209 saying, I saw Treats today up on the 3rd floor, and he wants a joint rating.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Treats, you off top because it's resting on your left ear. Like, I got to say, with Snacks, I'm going to, yeah. I'll give it an 8 just off top, but Snacks, you can go ahead further elaborate. There you go. Eat. Dude, just look at Snacks in his fit. So tight.
How you doing?
And we got some booth alert up in here. We
Uh-oh.
got Tarek up in here saying, what do you guys know about THCO? I just picked this up from my local smoke shop. Saying, I felt like I died and went to heaven when I saw this because I watch the show every day. Well, that's fake. Do not buy that. That's, there's probably some junk in there, some gunk. Like, I would not even smoke that.
That's not even official bootleg.
You gotta get your insane products at legal, regulated, licensed dispensaries in California.
It's kind of foolproof though for somebody who doesn't really know about it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's how they
the
get
crazy
you.
part.
That's how they get you.
That's crazy that motherfuckers will even take the time out to do all this boxing and all this shit. Like,
Just,
just to
further,
Fuck niggas.
just
Fuck
to
people.
further sell their shit, man. Like that's the fucked up part. Is that like it looks
That's
to
fucked
someone who doesn't know the line or what the
they just see insane.
oh, I'm gonna get it.
I told you I bought a bootleg Insane, but I knew it was bootleg. I just
Oh,
bought it
wanted
to
to
see
see.
what the fuck they selling. And of course it was some garbage. So
Ooh, boo.
don't trust no fake.
Nah, I always got to have official Insane OG
Go
or
to the
Insane
official, yeah.
official Insane products.
That's some strong stuff.
Absolutely.
And we got Timmy Two Faded smoking on some Insane with the new tip.
Oh, I like that tip and that joint. That joint looking good. All white ash, that's important.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Timmy Two Faded. And
What
shout
up,
out to
Timmy?
Hash Rat.
Hash Rat! What up, man?
And we got the Hawk up in here with little Caucasian Delight.
Oh, come on. So,
Breakfast casserole.
dude, so Utah Hawk is, he loves to send us these pictures of all this food that he deliciously makes. And he makes it and it goes to, and photographs the process. So it's pretty rad. He makes, like a breakfast casserole with like all those ingredients.
Man, you're gonna get me high shit, and then show me all this food.
Yeah,
Oh, we see it
dude.
every day.
Every day this happens. This is our life, dude.
And next up in here, we got Young Lung Lar saying some pizza fresh out the oven today, boys.
See? Look at it. Look at that.
You kidding me right now?
No, every day.
Pizza, pizza.
Oh, thank you.
Looks
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, please.
Awesome. Bring it.
And that seems to be it for today.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Always hit us with submissions at BRealTVcontest@gmail.com. Once again, that's BRealTVcontest@gmail.com. Get those submissions in. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
And,
let me ask you something. You ever get like stalked by groupies and stuff?
yeah.
I had more stalkers before I became a porn star than I did after I became.
Really? So it was more like when you were doing
Just a regular dude.
jiu-jitsu? You had more stalkers then?
Oh yeah, a lot more. And,
Oh.
Okay, so in the Marine Corps, in that culture, I became like a little mini celebrity there because of I was doing something outside
doing
of the
things.
Corps. Like
You was banging some Marines?
I was on my OFP basically, running
Yes.
the club, doing all this kind of stuff. Well, I had this girl that I don't know how she would sneak on a base. You know, like, we hooked up a couple times during the daytime.
Congratulations.
After 10 o'clock, no civilians are allowed on base.
Okay.
And I know she's not in the military, but somehow she was sneaking into my room, and you know I never locked my door. We always left it open, so we had breeze coming in there, and like, who's gonna come mess with us? Like, no, you know.
Right. Right.
And plus, like our friends, like we all just run in and out of each of our rooms. Like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, let's go do this. Like, no one wants to sit there and knock and wait for you to get up and go do something.
Right.
And so, she would come into my room and just wake me up,
Right.
you know, get nasty and shit.
As she should.
But I wasn't really a big fan of this person, you know. It just
okay.
didn't vibe out well, you know.
All
Like,
right, okay.
show was great. We just didn't vibe out well. Fun experience, didn't vibe out well.
So she was raping you, in other words.
Don't get cocky.
Oh, wow.
No, because I could have stopped it, but you know, like.
Do you?
I mean, I was like, all right, do it. You're already in here. But I didn't want to keep getting woken up because it was messing with my training the next day. So maybe that was it. Maybe I was a little bit more irritated because like you're making my next day even harder because you're waking me up like super late. And
Dude, listen.
so I was like super exhausted. So
Yeah, she made it.
that's what I did with my headmate. We look a little different. a lot of different. Really nice guy.
So basically,
We swapped rooms. Middle of the night, I hear this blood-curdling scream. Evil. And I hear him laughing his ass off.
ooh,
He
she
didn't
found out.
He didn't have to tell me what happened.
She found out, didn't she?
Pretty funny. And then I did the whole...
What do you mean?
I got a lot of stalkers from Tinder dates. And so I started going out on Tinder dates just for the stories because it was some ridiculous fucking shit.
Wow.
Like, way out there type shit.
Like, what was one of the craziest Tinder dates you went on?
I almost died.
Wow, I mean, like by her trying to kill you?
What the fuck?
So we met on Tinder, and she just got her chiropractic's license, whatever it is. And so I was telling her about like broken back and all that. She's like, "Oh, cool." And I was like, "Well, come to the office. I'll help you out." So we made a second date, and I was like, "Oh, cool, free healthcare. Get it? Hell yeah, let's get it on."
Right.
And so I show up there. She's the only one in the office. Walks up. She kind of like touches my back, and she's like, "Wow, you're really tight." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And I was thinking she's gonna get in there, kind of rub it, like. No. She puts me down on the table, and she takes these electric nodes, and she puts it at the base of my neck all the way down to my upper butt. And there's the nodes that make your muscles flex.
Oh, gnarly!
I didn't know this was like her first week here. No idea.
Know your role and shut your mouth because the people's champ is ready to talk.
So she's like, "We're going to turn this up until it hurts. And then we're going to turn it down a bit so it's more comfortable." I was like, "Sounds like a plan." So she's turning it up. She's turning it up. She's making these faces. She's, "Man, the doctor doesn't even take it up this high." She keeps turning it up. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, shit, well, am I just really stensed the pain from all this fighting that I've done, or are these connectors not on all the way?
What the hell are you talking about?
I was like, maybe I'm just high to pain, my ego is talking a little bit. and so then the phone rings. This thing's all the way up. It can't go any higher. And because that's where I started feeling it. I was like, yeah, okay, well, I feel it there, so I guess we'll just leave it there. Well, the phone rings, and she's the only one there. She's like, "Oh, shoot, I got to go get this." So I was like, okay. And she's like, "Yeah." So, but before she leaves, she takes one of those heavy heated blankets and throws that on my back and walks out the room.
Oh.
Those, those heavy blankets?
Yeah.
Well, that sealed all them motherfucking connectors. That first jolt caused my diaphragm to exhale all the air in my body.
Like,
and I was like, what the fuck? So I go to breathe.
What the fuck?
So I went to push up, jolt, flat on my face. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I couldn't get out of it.
oh, wow.
And so this was 10 minutes of my body basically being in like a full flex, trying to breathe through a straw. And from doing jiu-jitsu and being choked out a few times, not proud of it, but it happened, I'm very familiar with the black fading in, like the circle getting smaller.
Yeah,
and
the
smaller.
tunnel vision happening.
And so here I am. I'm on a chiropractic table off of a Tinder date. And I'm blacking out. Like, it's going down. This is the slow death. I was like, great. This is how I die. I mean, I survived being hunted by a pack of wolves, got ran over by a moose, got like all this crazy stuff, through the whole Marine Corps.
Broke your back.
Broke my back. The bipolar, like I survived all this crap.
Nice job,
And this is how you go.
And I'm going out on a chiropractic table off a Tinder date. I was like, great.
What's the matter with you?
Oh, man.
Luckily, the machine errored and turned off like about 30 seconds before she walked in the door. I could not formulate, just so you're like the level of exhaustion that my body went through that, my vocal cords weren't working. I couldn't I was trying to say, fuck you. But it could only like come out as a whisper.
Oh, man.
Like it wouldn't work.
Damn, dude.
So then I was like, wow, this is a great story.
If that, yeah, for sure. If only, yeah, man. I mean, how did that feel? Like, were you just like, did you ever run into her again afterwards?
Oh yeah, we hooked up. I mean,
I
I just learned my lesson. I'm just not going to I'm just not going to let her go take me to the office,
So how long was that phone call?
It was about 10 minutes.
Ooh.
Damn.
So you just dealt with
That was my guess. It was about 10. I don't know. It was long enough for me to slowly start to black out.
Yeah, that when you start getting I call it the tunnel vision, when it all just starts closing, all sides start closing in. Woo! Yeah, you start having this like, damn, for real, right now? Oh man, damn. And then something happens and you go, okay, cool. I think it's time to go ahead and open up the insane asylum doors. That's where we take.
Let's go.
Take anything you got to say over in the YouTube super chat. You can hit us up there. Will, Psycho Leezy, myself, Treehouse, THC. Let's open that door.
Insane Asylum.
Let's do this. All right, first one up of the day is Stony Meadows. And he's saying, shout out from the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. He's saying, Local 26 Grand Rapids over here. I can't wait to set up and help for the show tomorrow.
Oh, word.
Shout out to Stony Meadows.
Hell yeah. What up, Stony Meadows?
You know, yeah, he's going to be helping out for the Cypress show tomorrow in Grand Rapids.
Hell yeah. Hey, Grand Rapids is rad. I played a lot of shows there in my career. It's a great city.
And we got DMT up in here asking Will, wondering, how did you get the last name Pounder?
Oh,
Pounder.
yeah.
It's not as funny as when I laughed. I just think it's funny when I hear the name. Because my Instagram is I Will Pounder. So every time I hear my name, I think of that. Oh,
snap.
But,
I will. Oh, that's brilliant.
But
Oh my God.
I wanted to.
Incredible.
When I was coming up with the name. When I was coming up with the name for it, I wanted to actually respond when people called my name. And most of my life, people call me by my last name. Why wouldn't they? You know, you got everyone's gonna call you that. Don't matter where you go.
Yeah.
That's what they're gonna call you.
Right.
And so I figured, well, I will respond to Will. So what's something I go with Will? And I was like, well, random throw the answer. I was like, man, screw this. I like the lad. What's a funny name? And I was like, Pounder.
Magnificent.
That works. Will Pounder. It speaks for itself. It's all in the name. Done. That's it.
It was that easy?
It's not a crazy story. It was very.
Well done.
When it works, man.
Yep.
And we got Derek up in here saying, we need to get Nikki Dial or Heather Hunter on the show.
All right. Heather Hunter. You know, did you ever, you knew it?
Yeah, that's my homegirl. You know, New York. She's in Brooklyn. But yeah, shout out Heather Hunter.
OG.
Definitely get up here.
Will, can you take a flip from the Stunding glass?
Smoke.
No, they want you, if you've, yeah, I don't think we have it cleaned out yet. So no, there'd probably be no Stunding flips today.
Or do you ever smoke concentrates?
Do you ever smoke like,
Oh no, dude.
just weed?
Like taking dabs or anything like that?
No, I did. All right, so I did a dab once with Kinsey Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
She's a pretty well-known adult star. Friend of mine, and went over just to kick it. We weren't doing anything. We were just hanging out. And she's like, "Here, you wanna do a dab?" I was like, "No, like I'm usually just kind of smoke a little joints. My thing is edibles. I love edibles." But so she's like, "Well, fine. I'll do it." I did a little one, little tiny dab. Never done a dab before. My next memory is I'm in Albertsons. Don't know why I'm there. I'm happy, but I'm frustrated, and I'm frustratedly hungry. My next memory is I'm on her couch, wanting to go home, surrounded by fruit, trying to sober up because I was like, "This is ridiculous. I don't even want to be here right now." And I was like,
Sounds about right.
No, don't really do dabs.
Yeah. Get the fuck out. All right, duly noted.
How many chicks have you been with at once?
Ooh.
Bring it.
Well, this is why I said it's hard to have fantasies.
Number 1.
Oh, this right here,
I did
ladies
this
and
thing where
gentlemen.
it's like-
Number 2.
I think it was like 8 girls all at once in one scene.
Brilliant.
What do you do with 8 girls? I mean, they probably,
Is it like individual attention to each one for?
it's wild out. Whatever.
There's only so much you can do. Like, I mean, after every scenario I've ever done, my favorite is just with one. And honestly, my favorite person is actually my girl, which
That's cool.
Why I'm with my girl.
Nice.
But yeah, it's like the threesomes. Every once in a while, you find like really good chemistry with everyone, and it's pretty fun. But just one-on-one, because everybody's a little bit different, and I appreciate the fact that everybody's a little bit different. And I usually try to learn something from somebody else, because everybody knows something that you don't, no matter large or small. And so that's kind of one of the things I like to do is like talking to people. And so I always try to like, well, where are you from? What do you do? What are you into? And some of them, sometimes they surprise you. Some people have like big degrees. Some have worked in politics. Some have, they're engineers, and some of them are like therapists and all this other kind of stuff. And then so you never know what you're gonna get.
Would you say that everybody everybody in porn can come from all facets of life, right? All walks of life, right? You can be, like you said, political, or you could be like in the food industry, or you could just be like
from everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, just be like, this is their calling. This is what they want to do for now.
For some people, they get in for trying to do the money thing, and it'll work for a little bit. To really be successful in it, it's a business.
Yeah, full time, right? You got to go in.
You're your own marketer, you're your own promoter. You structure everything. If you got the money and you made the money from it, you can hire other people to do that. But you know what it's like trying to hire somebody. Like you have to go through. You're not quite cutting it. Not quite. You have to filter through the people to get to someone that is competent enough to do the job and task that you want them for.
Absolutely. Well said.
So when you find somebody that's good, you hold on to them. So that's why the people that are really good are hard to find, because they're already working.
Yeah.
Do you get any? They're asking, is it all acting, or do you get any sexual pleasure out of it anymore, or is it just more of the business now? Or
that's actually a really good question, and there's actually 3 stages. So the first stage and the path of being a male star is like when you're brand new. Your whole focus is just trying to keep them up. So you don't really know how to position the girl yet, so your whole focus is on that. So there's pleasure to be had into it, but you're too worried about just trying to get through it. So I wouldn't really call that super pleasurable, right? So then the next stage is, well, now you learn how to position the girl. All the positions, because the positions that you do, you don't really do that when there's not a camera and lights, because the camera's got to see. And at home, you just, you're doing it for fun. You do whatever you want,
Yeah.
And so once that becomes second nature, like you already know the positions, you know how to open, like once that becomes normal, and it goes through a period of time before you actually kind of get used to that, and that's just how it is. Then you can start doing it for pleasure. And so then you actually do the things that are fun, but but now you know your parameters. So you know like how far you can go this way, and you know all the positions and the parameters, so that the camera gets it. You know that you can close up at sometimes and get a little like me time is what they call it, but then you got to open right back up for the camera. So that's at that point, that's when you can start having pleasure and very much enjoying what you're doing with it.
Yeah, baby.
Nice. Well said.
And we got Fozzie up in here saying, I'm so high right now, I'm chilling up in the UK. You guys are so lucky to have it legalized in California.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
It's awesome to be able to smoke as much as we smoke.
Yeah.
Soon for you, hopefully.
And we got JK from Scotland up in here saying, what up, people? Some guy just told me that Oregon has better weed than California.
That's
I figured
negative.
I'd ask you guys.
No fucking way.
I'm going to say that's a negative.
No fucking way.
I mean, isn't it known as like that Cali weed shit?
Yeah, it's the best in the world, straight up.
I mean, it's literally a saying.
California.
Number 1.
I mean,
Cali fire.
California knows how to party. California knows how to party.
And we got Detroit Dabber. Detroit Dabber saying, so C-, don't you still owe us flips from yesterday?
Yeah,
right?
not till we. Yeah, I owe you 5, so I'll give them to you tomorrow because we got to clean it. And none of us cleaned it before it happened, so.
Gross.
I'll give you 5 tomorrow for sure.
Yep.
Could you describe the flip?
So basically, we do these. We put concentrate in here, and then you flip. It's like a gravity bong. So you wait for the chamber to fill up with smoke, and as it fills up with smoke, it spits out of
this tube
right there, and then you inhale that
smoke.
And each flip is, you inhale till it.
With concentrate.
Yes.
Oh, do you? What?
Yes.
How?
So like it's showing right there.
How?
Yeah.
I did a dab that's like this big, and I went catatonic and like memory gaps of being in a freaking grocery store and on a couch.
Well done.
Maybe it wasn't that shit, man.
Yeah, I really wish you could. Normally we would have our other co-host Callie Blaze here, and he's Concentrate King, and he does. We've seen him do 100 of those flips where he just the highest you've ever seen anyone get high off of a stunning glass or stunning glass. Blaze does that.
Does he even have a personality after that?
Oh yeah, he's Blaze. Matter of fact, he doesn't really get too he doesn't get as high as you'd think he'd a normal person would get. Like you think after 100 flips, you're like,
does it for sport.
Yeah, it's for sport. It's training. I really next time I hope he's here. Just so you can
So
see
like when
him.
you take one of those and get fucked up, Cali Blaze will do 125 of those.
He will.
And just be perfectly normal.
He's gonna do 125 on Friday. He already said yesterday that he was gonna do on Friday because someone asked him, "Hey, would you do you think you could do 125?" Someone out of the super chat, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it on Friday."
May God have mercy on his soul.
So he's already done 100 on the show. Blaze is the man.
I can't even comprehend that,
dude.
That little bit.
Yes.
That little bit.
Oh no, he's done that. He would look at that what one dab you do and go, "Oh,
evil."
Yeah.
Nah, that's insane.
That's Cali Blaze though, man, for sure.
He Blaze.
125 he's doing on Friday. But yeah, I'll get you tomorrow at 5 on the flips of that I owe for sure.
Where'd you learn that, Cheech?
So when's your next porn?
I just got done doing 4 feature films.
Like today?
No, so they just found out I could act.
Oh.
A lot of people didn't know I could act. Because usually you either perform really, really well or you can act.
Not both?
Very, very few can do both of them. And so I came from acting, and I got a lot of acting stuff. Like, it's fun. Like, that's what I enjoy doing that.
That's cool.
So they just found out I could act. So I just got feature after feature after feature.
That's cool.
And so, these 4 features I had, they're like 44 pages, multi-day shoots on both of them, and my characters are all opposite ends of the spectrum. So I'm not playing the same character. I'm playing opposite ends.
Oh, crap.
And so one of them was for a new company. Haven't shot for these guys before, and they, which I shot for everybody, I think, except for this company and one other company.
Okay.
And they, so they didn't. They're a little bit hesitant, and I was like, okay. So I got on the set. I was like, all right. So I read the script, and it's hard going from like a really well done, mainstream set script that's won awards to going to, an adult set like script. Like they're still good, but there's distinct difference in like character development and stuff like that. So I talked to the director. I was like, do I have to follow this exactly, or can I put a character to this? And she's like, oh no, you can put a character to this. We just need you to be, you need to have a very large ego, arrogant. This is a very wealthy kind of. That's the vibe that they want this character. I was like, great.
Magnificent.
American Psycho. It's on. So I did the American Psycho in it. So we're doing the whole thing. We go into Doggy. They didn't know any of this because I asked them, I was like, what can I do and how far can I take it? Now, a precursor is the person, one of the camera guys, his wife was considering booking me for another feature, but didn't know if I could act or not. So it was also kind of a tryout. And so I asked them what my parameters and how much can I. They said, you know what, you just do you, and if we don't like it, we'll tell you to stop. I was like, cool. So I tested the waters a little bit.
That's cool.
So we do all the acting. We get into the thing, like we're doing the scene. I'm in Doggy. I reach down and grab my pants off the floor and I pull my phone out. And I turn a selfie cam and I start talking to it like, you the man. I'm flexing to it like American Psycho, but I had to bring it into the 21st century, because, selfie cam.
Right.
So I'm doing all that stuff. And I'm just like, talking. I was like, oh, you ready to go to Pound Town? Because my name. And then I was getting tired, and so I needed a rest because I was very high energy on it. And then so I jumped down there because gonna go eat her out, and I told her I'm gonna eat you like a fat kid in a candy store.
Is she hot?
And then I motorboated her, like
Is
motorboated her, like.
Is she hot?
Yeah, she's hot.
Nice. Hell yeah.
And so everybody, like one of the cameramen, sitting here laughing. Everyone's like, "Oh God!" Like they can't stop
I'm a
it.
psycho.
She broke character just a second when I said that. I was just saying the dumbest shit, like the whole thing. Everyone was like just absolutely dying. And then it's just after that, it's just been feature.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you.
That's crazy.
That's pretty, man. So you did 4 of them, huh?
Yeah. Damn. 44-page scripts. And
Well done.
we're doing 5 and 6 pages of dialogue, like monologues and everything that in one go. When I did mainstream, it was like you had a monologue. That was all you did for the day.
Yeah.
Like we're shooting that monologue and only that monologue, for the most part.
Like with the in the adult world, like I know like if in the regular mainstream world, like an actor can't be a part of like so many films within certain amount of each other, or like so close to each other, right? Like Tom Cruise can't have like the Top Gun come out if he had or he can't have a film that he might have did on a smaller scale come out around Top Gun time because clauses or whatever. Like if you work on like 4 films, you have to stagger them out, or they could just be like, bam.
Well,
it's the Will Pounder rush.
There are so few guys that can actually do the job that you get what you get on that. That's honest truth.
That's cold as ice.
Every time I look at my DMs, if I ever actually dare to venture into like the red section, which is a little scary sometimes.
What do you mean?
What the fuck are you talking about?
It was so interesting that one of my mainstream producer friends, he wanted to do a show where we just read my DMs and get other girls and read their DMs on the show. And it's pretty some far out there ones, but it's entertaining. Whatever.
I'm sure.
But I get in there and I'm always getting asked of how do I get in the industry? How do I do this? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you because I'm not putting my name on someone when there's a 99.99% chance of you failing.
Oh, no more
Facts.
Yankee,
Like,
my Winky.
I'm not
facts.
I'm not gonna put my name out like that.
Right.
And then 2, like like try to get in the way I did. It's I don't know, like
yeah, just figure it out.
Lucky son bitch. And I was gonna say we got Darkwing Duck up in here saying shout out to Will for one of the best shows for us stoners.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Smoke it.
And I was going to leave you guys. We don't have any more super chats, but I was going to leave everyone off with a little comedy today. I saw this Twitter thread, and it said, remind me of Cali Blaze, Kanye's new boots, but as you scroll, they get bigger.
Yeah.
Shut the hell up.
Look at that. You start there. Then look at this.
A little bigger.
They just get bigger. They go to the knee.
Cali Kanye collab.
Oh man. That shit is stupid.
It's so stupid, dude. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, thank you very much. Hey, thank you to everyone who sent in submissions and sent in super chats. Really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much for hanging out with us, Will. And the Dr. You'll be at Subversive, right?
Yeah.
Which is coming up next weekend?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, man.
It's the largest team tournament. It's made by the same people with ADCC, which is our Olympics. It's gonna be exciting.
That's gonna be cool. So next Saturday, June 11th, doors open at 4.
We got some killers competing at this tournament.
Man,
I almost had to fight one of them too.
Really?
I didn't really. Yeah. So when I fought at that UFC fight, I fought Lachlan Giles, got him in a crucifix, ended up getting out, got submitted by heel hook. It was great. Went on to win. Took 3rd at the ADCC. The next guy was going to be Nicky Rod. Nicky Rod is like, what the fuck? He's like the Hulk.
What the fuck?
Badass, huh?
He's got the jiu-jitsu skill level of a blue-purple belt.
Awesome.
But he's gone around and just straight manhandled world champion black belts.
Oof.
Like so athletic that it's like, imagine like literally the Hulk the Hulk doesn't know jiu-jitsu. He just does shit. Imagine him just going in there like, I don't know what this is, and just exploding, and then the whole puzzle falls apart, and then you restart again. Like, that's Nicky Rod.
Wow.
Just a physical specimen.
Wow.
Nuts.
Badass.
I didn't want to fight him. My body was already hurting before.
You're like, nah, I'm good.
I'm sorry. I'm 35,
Yeah.
Stuff breaks and it doesn't heal.
Whew. Man, you are correct, sir.
I don't want his face looking at that face when he's throwing my dice.
Exactly. Will, you got any shout-outs before we end the show?
Sure. I'd like to shout out Subversive. I'm a huge fan of the organization, the mental health thing, the veterans. They bring it all in together in a package. They support a lot of nonprofits. So I want to shout out the We Defy. We Defy is a network is a nonprofit that pays for the tuition for disabled vets to go do jiu-jitsu to build that camaraderie. And then I also want to shout out the Cupcake Girls, which they help victims of sexual assault and sex trafficking and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. Psycho Leezy, you got some shouts?
Yeah. Shout out everybody on the check-in. Shout out to Will. Shout out to C, the whole crew upstairs. Shout out to The Hill doing their thing on the road.
Yes.
Also, and if you're checking for the merch, Psycho Less merch, go to the site, thepsycholessshop.com. You know, if you're on the gram, psycholess.official. Please.
Bolton.
Shout to the Insane Asylum. Thank you guys so much. Shout to everybody in Twitch. Shout to the people in the Discord. Shout to Ray Morning Shot Films and shout to the Dominator. And don't forget, this Friday at 4:20, we got the new Tiffany Funkies dropping.
Yeah.
They're not limited or exclusive, so just pick them up. Grab a couple. Grab 3, 4, 5 of them if you want to. But no, check those out as well. And also don't forget about the Dr. Greenthumb Funko.
Yeah.
Should be shipping out in about 15 to 20 days. Some people already got theirs, so check it out at Walmart.com or even GameStop.
Damn, those are fresh, too. I'm going to have to get... I know, dude, I'm trying not to get on the collecting thing. You already... Damn, you rolled it already? That's tight. But I know I'm going to have to get one of those Dr. Greenthumb Funkos. I just know. I see it. Thank you, everyone, hanging out with us here at the Dr. Greenthumb Show every Monday through Friday, 2 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. BREALTV, YouTube, and Twitch. Thank you to everyone that joins me in the morning for the mixes at C-Fan4. Appreciate you. Tomorrow's Artist Spotlight, but I don't even know who I'm doing yet. So just check the IG. I'll announce it there at C-Fan4. DJC-.com. Check it out if you want to pick up some cool gear, a hat, some socks, whatever. Check it out. And if you do grab anything, truly appreciate it. Also, I'm doing this gig next Tuesday. Me and Fizz Ed are taking over the downtown LA Ace Hotel rooftop, and we're going to play all Prince on his birthday. So if you want to come out, yeah, it's going to be super cracking from 7 to 2 a.m. on Prince's birthday, June 7th. Guaranteed to be a good time. And thank you to everyone that the Insane Asylum, 5150s, Kitchen Sink Crew. Thank you to the Dominator. Thank you to Ray, to Bolton. Will, appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us, man. I'll see you at Subversive for sure. And Psycho Leezy, the world famous Beat Nuts in full effect. Tomorrow we'll be on with E-Zone and the gang. Yeah, so yeah, I'll tell you what, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Or see you in the morning over on my Twitch thing, but definitely see you here tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Dr. Greenthumb Show. We're out. Much love.
BREAL.TV